This video will discuss chapter 4.2, writing equations in slope-intercept form. So similar to what we used in the last lesson, we're going to use this formula again, y equals mx plus b, keeping in mind that x and y are just points along the line, m is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. And in this particular lesson, we're going to probably want to focus on another formula, and that is the formula for slope, which we've discussed before. That's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So keep in mind that this is going to give us a slope, right? And then we're going to take that slope, so whatever our answer is here, and that's going to end up going up there. So you may want to think about writing these two equations down on your notebook as you're taking notes today. First thing we're going to do is write an equation of a line that passes through point 2, 1 with a slope of 3. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to use the equation that we know, y equals mx plus b. Now, keep in mind that we are given m, that's here, and we are given x and y, which are here. So what we have to find is b. So we're going to take these numbers and we're going to substitute them into our formula. So y is this, remember this is x comma y. So y is that second number. So it's going to be 1 equals m, which is 3, times x, which is 2, plus b. Okay, this is y equals mx plus b. Now I got to solve for b. Okay, so again, 2 is my x, 1 is my y, 3 is my m. So this becomes 1 equals 6 plus b. At this point I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. That goes away. I'm left with b equals negative 5. So at this point I now know b as well as m. So I can now write my formula, y equals mx plus b, is going to be y equals m, which is 3x plus b. Now keep in mind b is negative, so this is going to be minus 5. So there is my formula for the line that passes through 2, 1 with a slope of 3. All right. Now, in this one, we're going to do a little bit more work. Write an equation of a line that passes through 3, 1 and 2, 4. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this second formula to find the slope. And then once I found the slope, I'm going to use this formula on top. So in order to find the slope, what I need to do is call this x1, y1, x2, y2. And so slope equals y2, which is 4, minus y1, which is 1, over x2, which is 2, minus x1, which is 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3. So there's my slope. Okay, but now what I need to do is I need to find b. So I'm going to use y equals mx plus b, but I'm going to substitute this negative 3 in for m. And so here, let me come to a new slide. So I'm going to use this formula. Now, coming back to this one for just a moment. I can pick either of these 2 points as my x or my y. It really doesn't matter. I'll pick the first 2. So this is my x. My x is going to be 3 and my y is going to be 1. So when I come over here, what I'm going to end up doing is substituting a 1, because I'm using this point, right, 3 comma 1. So I'm going to substitute 1 in for y equals negative 3 times x plus b. Okay, so this becomes 1 equals negative 9 plus b. Now what I need to do is I need to add 9 to both sides, because that's a negative 9. So the opposite of negative 9 is positive 9. This goes away, and I'm left with 10 equals b. So now I know both m and b. So I'm going to come back to that original slide. Now keep in mind that what I figured out that this was M. In my other slide, my other board, I figured out that B was 10. So I'm going to take those, I'm going to put them together, and I'm going to write my formula, which is y equals mx plus b. So this would be the equation of the line that passes through both of these points. Y equals negative 3x plus 10. All right, now one last problem. We want to write an equation to describe this scenario. And so in the book, this is the table they give you, and the scenario they talk about is that these are the years, and this is the cost of a domestic flight in the United States. So you can see that the cost of the domestic flight is rising. So what I need to do, which makes sense, so what I need to do is I need to figure out what is the equation of this table, because the idea is that we could then use that to predict, let's say, what the cost would be in the year 2020. Right? So if I wanted to find out what the cost was going to be in the year 2020, I could use the equation that we're going to figure out. So the idea is, first thing I need to do is figure out a slope, right? A y, and so I'm going to use, I can use any 2 points. I'm also going to get rid of the 2000, so I'm just going to call this 4, 5, 6, and 7. Right, so it's going to make my numbers significantly easier. So this is x, and this is y. You can use any 2 points you want. The easiest two are to use the smallest two, but you don't necessarily have to do that. So what I want to do is m equals 366 minus 354. Right, so I'm calling this 2 and this 1, which means that this is going to be 2 and this is going to be 1. So remember I'm getting rid of the 2000, so this is going to be 5 and this is going to be 4. 366 minus 354 is 12. 5 minus 4 is 1. So my slope is 12. Okay, now what I need to do is figure out b. So there are a few ways that I can find b. Probably the most logical is to use y equals mx plus b, and now that I know m, and I've got an x, okay, and again, you can choose any one of these x's if you want. In fact, let's pick a different one. Let's use 2006 and 378, so just to prove a point. But you could use 2000, so you would use 4 and 354, so this would be my x, this would be my y, but I'm going to use this one just to show that it doesn't matter which points I pick. So I'm going to go 378 equals m, which is 12, times x plus b. All right, so this is y equals m x plus b. So now I'm going to go 378 equals 72 plus b. Okay, and then I'm going to subtract 72 from both sides. That goes away. I'm left with b equals 306. So my equation for the cost of domestic flights in the United States would be y equals 12x plus 306. Now, let's say that I did want to actually figure out what the cost was going to be. What I would need to do is I would need to say, okay, since I'm taking off the 2000s, this is going to become 20. So my x is going to be 20. My question is, what is y? So I'm going to go y equals 12, right? So I'm using mx. My x is 20 plus 306. So now I'm going to say 12 times 20, which is 240, plus 306. And so then y equals 546. So the answer of what would the cost of the average domestic flight in the United States be in the year 2020 is $546. Now, I want you, in terms of real life scenario, I want you to think about why that might be dangerous for you or misguided for you to start to use this formula to go all the way to 2020, right? Because you don't know what technology advancements they're going to make in terms of airlines, and they may make these giant airliners that can carry so many more people that they can really reduce the cost. So this may end up going down, right? And if you remember, for those of you that were with me last year, you remember that we talk a little bit at times about Borders or about Hollywood Video, and how those companies might have been predicting profit using a formula similar to this, and then obviously things changed, right? With Borders, the invent of the Kindle or the e-reader, and with Hollywood Video, it was the invention of Netflix, essentially, that kind of changed what this formula would look like and how you can't necessarily predict profit too far into the future. All right, so that's all I got for you in this section. Please make sure you finish the problems on the bottom of the page. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in class.